Hello, it is your Gen X Big Sister here, just umming my way through my videos. So I am 6 videos into this series, and I received a comment on one of my previous videos that said something about please say less. And it's funny because I don't even hear it. Not only like when I'm speaking, I don't hear it when I'm listening back. So that is going to be one of the things that I work on while I do these videos is cutting back on the ums and the other filler words. But let's just start with ums. And I will likely be taking them out of my video until I'm getting better at it because once I start hearing it, that's all I can hear. So, anyway, your Gen X big sister umming her way through another video. And today I want to talk based on a question that I got from a viewer. They were asking, how do I know when it's actually time to leave my job as opposed to am I being unreal? Are my expectations unrealistic? Am I not sticking with it? Am I not trying hard enough? Am I not digging in? Is it something to do with me? And should I change my approach to the job? And obviously, there's a possibility that there is work that we can do on ourselves before we decide that the job is not the right place. And there's, a lot of ways to go about that. For me personally, I felt like I spent a long time doing all that. I spent a really long time trying to be the right fit and have the role fit me with what I wanted to do before I gave up. But how do I know? And how do you know if it's time to leave your job or plan putting the plan together to leave the job? So because don't do it without a plan. First, let me tell you. So it is Tuesday. Yesterday was the Monday of all Mondays, right? It was the first day back to work for a lot of people for the first time in over 2 weeks. The way the holidays fell, a lot of people had at least 14 days completely away from their job. And yesterday was their first day back. The day didn't even register on my radar, to be honest with you. But I saw what people were posting online. I saw what people were saying about it starting on Sunday. So people were just completely weighed down with the Sunday Scaries, big time on Sunday. And people saying that they have them worse than usual just because it's been such a long but great break. And those Sunday scaries, and I think you know what I mean by Sunday scaries. It's just that dread. Sometimes it's like negative feeling butterflies the night before. It's having difficulty like fully relaxing into your Sunday and having an inability to really enjoy your Sunday because you're anticipating the dread of what's coming. You're anticipating your email inbox and the stuff that's waiting for you when you get back. So if that's how you were feeling and it impeded your ability to enjoy the last day of your vacation and of your holidays, that is a pretty strong sign that it's time to leave your job or make a plan to leave your job. And then on Monday, the Monday of all Mondays, if you feel like when you're 30 minutes into your day on Monday, and oh my God, I remember this happening. So it's your first day back, you're like 30 minutes in, maybe an hour, and you feel like you had never even gone. All of a sudden, you're back into the quagmire and things just completely, you just already can't wait for the end of the day and you're already thinking about the weekend. That's a sign. That's a sign that it's time. Several weeks ago, I was meeting up with a friend on the weekend. It was a Saturday night and I think it was like, no, it was actually a good weather day. It was a good weather day. But we had plans to get together that evening. So we got together and she asked me, so, how was your day? Did you do like something that I had said that I was going to do or whatever? And I said, no, actually, I ended up doing work all day. And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was taken aback there for a second because that wasn't the feeling that I was feeling when I said that. When I said, "No, I ended up doing work all day." It wasn't an, "Oh, I'm sorry." Such I chose it. I was doing work that I wanted to do. I was doing some stuff for my clients. I was doing some stuff for my online work. And I enjoyed it, every minute of it. So I didn't feel like I was sacrificing my weekend or part of my weekend. And I didn't feel icky about it at all. So when you're spending time doing your job, doing things that are connected to your job, do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy doing it? If you end up having to go like a little after hours or whatever, do you resent that? And if so, there's another sign for sure. If I was unsure whether I was ready to make a change, make a pivot, go in another direction, what would I do? I would ask myself, there's a few questions that I would ask. I have six questions that I would ask myself. The first is, am I able to leave work at work? Do I take it home with me? And does it feel like a weight when I do that? This is all like one question to sort of contemplate on. Maybe journal about it, maybe just think about it. But that would be the first thing I would say. Is it creeping over in a negative way into my life? Number two, are you venting about it more? And that could be, unfortunately, that could be to coworkers, which is not a good thing, especially if they're feeling the same way, because it just sort of snowballs and you're just bringing each other down. And I have been completely guilty of this in my past, where we're venting together, and the end of the conversation, we don't feel better, we feel worse. But then I also would find that I was venting with people outside of work. I was venting with friends or family members, people who, aren't as invested in the situation, so they don't have like the emotional connection to what I'm saying, but I can't stop like bringing it up. So that is absolutely a sign that it's time to go. How is it impacting the rest of your life? This would be the third question. How is it impacting the other areas of your life? For example, health. So for me, it was not just impacting, it was impacting my energy level, it was impacting my weight. I was gaining weight and having trouble losing it. It was affecting my mental health. I was having cocoon days way more often and way longer than I needed to. My cocoon days are what I've named those days after going through a lot of coaching. Sometimes I have those days where I just want to cocoon. I just want to be quiet. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to get out of my bathrobe. Maybe I want to watch some Netflix. Maybe I want to read a book. Maybe, whatever it is, I don't really want to do anything. And so I call those cocooning days. And I have developed strategies and tactics for managing those. But when I didn't have those tactics and strategies, and when I was in a job that I was hating, those cocooning days sometimes were the entire weekend. It would go like the whole time, where I just didn't want to get up and out. And yes, signs of depression, for sure, for sure. So that's something to look at about how your job is, is it parts of your job that are making that happen? And what about relationships and your mood? Is it affecting your mood? Is it putting you in a bad state of mind? Are you taking it out on other people? Are you taking it out on your partner, on your kids, on your family members? A lot of times the people closest to us get the brunt of our frustration. We're holding it in all day at work and we're keeping on a brave face and we're trying to be the good trooper that we are and do the best job we possibly can. But the frustration and the misery ends up coming out in other ways with arguments over the dishwasher, or whatever, whatever, however it manifests. So that is a sign. And then the other thing to ask is, do you feel like you're making an impact at your job? Are you making a difference? Is it adding to your sense of having a purpose, feeling fulfilled, feeling like you're making a positive dent in the world? This was a saving grace for me during the time when I was between the time that I decided to leave and then actually had to leave. I did feel like I was making an impact. So that helped. If I didn't feel like I was making an impact, it would have been that much harder. So if you feel like you're not impacting other people or you're not contributing to society in some positive way, yeah, that's a sign. Could be time to move on. Question number 5. This was an issue for me too. Are you being heard? Do you feel like you're being heard? This might be just a personal thing for me. I don't know. This may not be a universal question, so you'll have to tell me what you think. I I reached a point where I no longer felt like I was being heard around how we did things at our company or decisions that needed to be made or changes that needed to happen, how we're serving our customers. I always felt like I needed to have a voice. I needed to contribute to what we were building and what we were growing and how that was going to come to be. And the less I felt like I had a voice, the more disconnected I felt from the role and the more miserable I became. So for me, it was a really strong indicator that I stopped feeling like I was being heard. And then the sixth question is around the people. And the people, so there's the people that you're serving, your customers. Like how do you have a healthy connection with them and are you feeling good about serving them? And that kind of goes into the whole making an impact thing. But that's one thing. And then there's your peers, there's your direct reports, and then there's the people that you report to. Do you feel a healthy connection with those people? Do you feel like you've got common ground? Do you feel like you have mutual respect? Do you feel like you have a shared vision? Like what is the value of that connection? And this was a sign for me in the beginning of like why this wasn't the place for me to start is I slowly started to see those things unravel a little bit and I felt less and less on the same page with the people around me and less of a shared vision and less of a common ground. I had people that I respected and felt that there was mutual respect there. And then there was a growing number of people where the mutual respect was not there or was suffering in some way. So that was a really, really, really big sign for me. And as I mentioned in the last video, I was very intentional about the plans that I made to prepare myself to leave this job and to figure out what I wanted to do next. Because for me, it wasn't about leaving one job for another. On a bigger scale, needed to figure out what I wanted my life to look like. And I talked about ways to survive the job while you have to be in there and still do a good job at it too. I'm not saying, don't do a good job while you're there, but how can you do a good job when you're feeling miserable? So I talked a little bit about that in the last video. But one of the things I didn't mention there that I wish that I had was I also started considering my job as like my biggest investor. Like I started to think of it sort of as as a separate entity. So this entity was investing in my future. So it was a necessary part of my life that was funding my dream that I was working towards. I hope some of that, any of that, all of that was helpful for you. And I will link once again to my ebook, which after I recorded yesterday's video and couldn't recall the exact words of the ebook, I made sure to go and look at it. And I also looked through it again. It's been a while since I've actually flipped through the pages, and there's some really good stuff in there about really taking yourself through this mindset and this plan of, I know I need a break. I know I need to leave my current situation. How do I get from here to there? Like, what are some of the practical things? And it's actually set up as a very interactive workbook, guidebook kind of a thing. So I'll link that in the description here for this video again. It's called Heal and Restore, the 7-Step Guide to Joy. So enjoy that if you're interested. And if you haven't listened to yesterday's video, I suggest that you do that because it does talk about how to survive. And that's all I got. It's your Gen X Big Sister signing off.